Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Makkot. We are up to Perek Aleph Mishnah Chet. Today's Mishnayot should be Le'ilui Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana Ranbai, Eliyahu ben Burcha Israelov, Chana ben Miriam, Sason ben Raya, and Yoshua ben Shifra, Menuchatam began Eden, Amen, and Avdu ben Chaim L'Chaim, v'derefua shelemav Daniel Shalom ben Rosa, B'tor Shah Chulei Israel, and Achlama Merav, Binyamin, Od Zion Chai ben Dvorah. Continuing from the previous Mishnah, the Mishnah teaches another law that is derived from the Torah's comparison of two witnesses to three witnesses when it says by the word of two witnesses or three witnesses. Mashnaim, just as when there is a group of two witnesses, if one of them was found to be an invalid witness because he was a relative, we know a person cannot serve as witness if he is related to either party in the case or to any of the other witnesses. Or if one of them was found to be a disqualified witness, for example, he was a thief. People who commit certain sins or engage in certain unethical business practices are not trusted to testify and are disqualified from serving as witnesses. And the same would apply if one witness was found to be a zomem witness. Their testimony is completely invalid because there are no longer two qualified witnesses. Av shlosha. So too, if there is a group of three witnesses, if one of them was found to be a relative or a disqualified witness, the testimony of the whole group is invalid. Since one member of the group is an invalid witness, we do not accept the testimony of anyone in the group. The Torah's comparison of two witnesses to three witnesses teaches that just as a single invalid witness disqualifies a group of two witnesses, so does a single witness in the group disqualify a group of three witnesses, even though there are two qualified witnesses left. From where do we know that the same law applies even to a group of 100 witnesses? Meaning, if one of them is found to be an invalid witness, the other 99 are also disqualified from testifying. Tamul Omar Edim. To teach this, the Torah states the word witnesses twice by the word of two witnesses or three witnesses. This teaches that every set of witnesses has the same law, no matter how many witnesses it contains. If one witness in the set is found to be invalid, the whole group is disqualified. Now the Mishnah cites a dispute as to when this law applies. Amar Rabbi Yossi said, Bamed Dvarim Amurim, regarding what type of testimony was this law said? B'dinei nefashot, only with regard to capital cases. Aval b'dinei mamonot titkayem ha'edut bash'ar. However, with regard to monetary cases, if one of the witnesses was found to be invalid, the rest of the group is not disqualified, and the testimony can be established by the rest of the witnesses. Now, the Torah gives a special command to do all we can to avoid carrying out the death penalty. To this end, the sages taught many leniencies that apply in capital cases in order to pardon the defendant. According to Rabbi Yossi, this Mishnah's law that if one witness is invalid, all the witnesses are disqualified and the defendant is freed is such a leniency. Therefore, it applies only in capital cases, but not in monetary cases where we have no special leniencies to help the defendant. Rabbi Omer, but Rabbi says, Echad dinei mamonot v'echad dinei nefashot. In both monetary cases and capital cases, if one of the witnesses is invalid, all the witnesses are disqualified. Rebbe continues, an invalid witness becomes part of a set of witnesses and thereby disqualifies the whole set in one of two ways. One, he testifies together with them, and two, he witnesses a crime together with them, but only in the following case. Bisman she'etru bahen, if invalid witnesses see a crime together with the group of people, the whole group is disqualified from testifying, but only when the invalid witnesses warn the criminals not to commit the crime. In such a case, it is clear that the invalid witnesses were not merely watching the crime, but intended to testify about it. A person cannot be executed for a crime unless he was warned before committing it that the act is forbidden and is subject to a death penalty. It is clear that whoever gives this warning intends to bring the criminal to justice and will testify in court about what he saw. This makes them part of the group of witnesses, and their presence disqualifies the whole group from testifying about the crime. When a group of people see a crime being committed, only those people who intend to testify about it are considered part of the group of witnesses, since it can be assumed that whoever gives the criminal a warning intends to testify, he is considered part of the group. If the testimony was about a monetary matter where no warning is given, the way we determine whether the invalid witnesses are considered part of the group is by asking them whether when they saw the incident, they intended to testify about it or simply to watch. Aval bisman shelo yitruben, but if the invalid witnesses did not warn the criminals, it is assumed that the invalid witnesses are simply watching and do not intend to testify. In this case, they are not considered part of the group, and the rest of the witnesses may testify. So again, according to Rebbe's opinion, which the Rav tells us the halacha follows, in both monetary cases and capital cases, if one of the witnesses is invalid, all the witnesses are disqualified, and an invalid witness becomes part of a set of witnesses in one of two ways. One, he testifies together with them, or two, he witnesses a crime together with them, but only in the case where the invalid witnesses warn the criminals not to commit the crime. The Mishnah supports this law with the logical argument, if an invalid witness will disqualify everyone who sees a crime along with him, even if he has no intention to testify, what should two brothers do if they are part of a group of people who saw someone murdering a person? Will the whole group be disqualified from testifying simply because two brothers who cannot serve together as witnesses happen to see the crime, even though they had no intention of testifying? Surely not. It must be that only those people who intend to testify are considered part of the group of witnesses. And that is the end of Mishnah Chet. Having discussed laws that apply to a large set of witnesses, Mishnah Tet discusses when witnesses are considered a single set and when they are considered different sets. A person was committing a capital crime. For example, a person was committing a murder and he was in an area between two windows. Two witnesses watched him from one window, and another two witnesses watched him from another window, and the two groups of witnesses could not see each other. One other person was standing in the middle between the windows and was warning the criminal not to commit the act. A person can be given the death penalty only if he was given a proper warning that his crime is forbidden and subject to the death penalty. So the law in this case is as follows. You have two from one window, two from another who cannot see each other, and one in the middle who gave the warning. If some of these people saw each other, specifically if the person giving the warning saw the witnesses in the windows and they saw him, then these people are considered a single set of witnesses. Although they could not see each other, they could not all see each other, the fact that they could all see and be seen by the person giving the warning joins them together as one group. The witnesses also had to intend to testify, as we saw in the previous Mishnah. Vimlav, but if not, meaning if the person giving the warning did not see the witnesses or they did not see him, then they are considered two sets of witnesses. The group in each window is considered its own set of witnesses. The Mishnah states the consequences of the witnesses being considered separate sets. Therefore, if both sets of witnesses testify, and one of the sets is then found to be zomemin, meaning another set of witnesses testified that one of the sets that claimed to be watching from the window was really in a different place at that time. The defendant and the zomin are killed. The zomin are put to death because they tried to have the defendant executed, and the defendant is put to death as well. Although one set of witnesses was proven false, another set of witnesses remains and testifies that he is guilty. The second set of witnesses, the set that was not found to be zomin, is exempt from any punishment. Since the two sets are unconnected, the second set is not affected by the fact that the first set was found to be zomimin. However, in the first case of the Mishnah, where the two groups in the window saw and were seen by the person in the middle, if one of the groups is found to be zomimin, nobody is killed. Since in that case, all the witnesses are considered a single set, once some of them are found to be zomimin, the entire set is disqualified, as we learned in Mishnah 8. Therefore, the defendant is not put to death because there is no valid testimony against him. In addition, the witnesses found to be zomimin are not killed, since zomimin cannot be punished unless their whole set of witnesses are found to be zomimin, as we learned in Mishnah 7. And here, only some of the witnesses were found to be zomimin. Therefore, in the first case of the Mishnah, no one is killed. Now, in the above case, where the witnesses and the person in the middle cannot see each other, the person in the middle is not part of either group of witnesses. Nevertheless, the Mishnah ruled that the warning given by this person can serve to have the defendant executed. Rabbi Yossi disagrees. Rabbi Yossi says, "Le'olam en ragin ad pi shnei edav matrin bo." Criminals are not executed unless the two witnesses who testify against the criminal give him a warning. If, however, a different person gave the warning, as in our case, the warning is not valid and the criminal cannot be given the death penalty. Rabbi Yossi cites a verse in the Torah as a source for this law. Shenemar al pishnayim edim, as it is stated in Dvarim, chapter 17, verse 6, by the word of 2 witnesses shall the condemned person be put to death. This implies that whatever is necessary to sentence him to death, including the warning, must be done by the same 2 witnesses. The Mishnah notes that another law is learned from this verse, Davar Acher, another interpretation, Al Pishnayim Edim, the phrase by the word of 2 witnesses teaches Shelo Tiyeh Sanhedrin Shomat Mipi HaTurgeman, that the judges of the Sanhedrin here refers to all the courts that judge capital crimes. The great Sanhedrin of 71 judges that sat in the temple, as well as the courts of 23 judges that were located in every city. They may not listen to the testimony through an interpreter. They may rule on a case only if they are fluent in the language spoken by the witnesses and can listen to the testimony directly from the witness. Al Pishnayim Edim literally means by the mouth of 2 witnesses, which teaches that the judges must hear the testimony directly from the witness's mouth. And that is the halakha as the Rav brings down. That is the Rabotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.